to take over the position that he's being vetted for, or has been vetted for. But I would quickly want to draw, Honorable Speaker, your attention to the situation within the fish industry and the tasks that await Oduor, because this is an area that has been very, very sentimental and very important to the people living around the lake and the people on the coastal line of Kenya, while at the same time fish farming has now propagated itself into the interior. And that's why the government at one point had a policy whereby every sub-county, every constituency would create fish ponds to promote fish farming in this country. It is coming into this position at a time when on Lake Victoria, the Luangni beach has been removed, and now there's promotion of the Dunga beach on the lake. He's coming to this office at a time when the deep sea fishing on the Indian Ocean is no longer there, and we cannot pride ourselves in getting the high quality level fish from the ocean which we can export to other countries. And therefore, he should be ready as he takes over this job to deal with all these things, including and not limited to marketing of fish on both Lake Victoria and the Indian Ocean. Honorable Speaker, where we see the real fishermen not getting the real value money for what they do, because the middlemen, especially who are simply waiting to carry the fish away, are actually reaping more from the fish that is gotten from the lakes in this country, especially Lake Victoria, than the fishermen themselves. We should see him get ready to prepare to make sure that the shilling earned from fishing benefits the fishermen themselves and the mamas who are involved in the trade of fish within and along the lake. Also, at the same point, there has been a lot of harassment, intimidation, there's been a lot of sexual harassment, and so on in the fish industry, which has been actually enforced by several legends, myths that are told by the people around the lake, that you must perform this and that before you get the fish. Otieno is going to face this challenge and must promise us that he's going to do away with these harassments that the women who trade in fish are facing around the lake. Honorable Speaker, fish farming has now spread countrywide. The Otieno must be ready to make sure that the increased fish consumption within the country, given that many people are now drifting away from the red meat and white meat, which fish is part of, is very popular. He must be able to promote the fish farming countrywide, so that it's not only limited to the lakes and rivers and also the ocean, but it can also be practiced within the countryside through the ponds which were developed by government. Most of them are now lying as dangerous ponds around the country. This is what he should be involved in. Marketing of fish, I think I've spoken on that. I also want to say that Otieno must be very ready to deal with modernization of our fishing industry, so that people can pride in fishing as an industry the way it used to be. And that's the pride that we want him to bring to this country and within this industry. Honorable Speaker, the invasion, in fact, I stopped eating fish completely because I could not separate or differentiate between the Chinese fish and the fish from the Lake Victoria. This is a matter that this officer must deal with, so that we completely stop the importation of fish from China, which has demoralized many of the fish farmers, demoralized many of the fishermen on the lake, and demoralize many of the fish eaters like myself, so that we are assured that the fish we are eating is not fish from China. Because the fish from China, as it comes here, Honorable Speaker, it comes with very many other connotative understandings around it, and myths on the type of foods it eats before it arrives to this country. I don't want to belabor to go into the depth of what we hear about that fish. So unless it blocks the proliferation of fish from outside and defend the fishing industry so that the local Kenyans and market can enjoy, then those are some of the tasks that are awaiting these individuals as I support him to take office. Finally, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that the Lake Victoria is thoroughly infested by the water hyacinth. So that's another area, because you cannot get this fish from Victoria until you deal with the water hyacinth that you'll have to deal with, so that the hyacinth is removed. The efforts that were done by governments, previous government administration to remove the hyacinths have since stopped. And that hyacinth, once it takes over the lake looks like it is a field where you can play football and fish does not thrive. There's another model type of fishing that has arrived on Lake Victoria, and this one is called fish caging. I don't know if you have heard about it, Honorable Speaker. And this is the type that brought about later on aspects of fish dying en masse. And we don't know whether it's the caging that has polluted the lake or the lake itself polluted the caging. This is a matter that's also lying on his table to deal with so that this industry is promoted. Honorable Speaker, I chose to speak on the tasks and things that affect fishermen in this country, which our very able nominee approved here by Parliament will have to deal with as he arrives in office and sanitize this industry. And for that matter, I want to thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I support this particular candidate being nominated. Thank you.
Thank you, Mbunge wa Mombasa.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii adhimu kuweza kuzungumzia chairman wetu, mwenyekiti mpya ambaye ameteuliwa kama chairman wa Fishing Marketing Authority. Kwanza nachukua fursa hii kumpongeza sana Mheshimiwa Martin Ogindo. Nikiangalia katika maelezo yake, alikuwa ni mwenzetu katika bunge hili, alikuwa ni kiongozi mchapakazi,